Delicious coffee. Hello, Claudia.
Hi, Denny.
It's 1 o'clock on the button. We are
Yep.
right on time. People are
happy to see
anxiously
you.
awaiting for our Tuesday podcast with Denny and Claudia.
Yay!
Yeah, very excited. Today,
Yep.
let's see. We're going to be unlocking the power of nature. Now, isn't that what you do and we do every Tuesday? Unlocking the power of nature.
That's right.
It's kind of like what we do.
Thing. Yeah. We're teaching people to understand and honor the power that we have within us and what the earth offers us all around us. It's a beautiful thing.
It is.
Yep.
All right, let me get going. We'll bring in our guest and we will help people because that's what this podcast is all about.
That's what it's about.
Good Health by Claudia. Let's take two. That's a beauty. You don't have to worry about it. You can just back it up. Let me rewind that. Good Health by Claudia podcast with me, Denny Schaefer, a production of Denny Radio. This is episode 47, everybody.
Woohoo! We're getting there.
Unlocking the power of nature. Claudia, that sounds kind of spooky. Before we talk more about that, I got to run the disclaimer.
All right.
The information contained in this podcast is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or health condition. Please consult a qualified healthcare professional if you do have a medical condition. The FDA is not evaluated. The information on this podcast, which represents the opinions of the hosts, me and Claudia, but mainly Claudia, and our guests, which we will get to in a minute. So unlocking the power of nature, which is kind of like what we do every week, isn't it?
Of course. Of course. We're reminding people that nature has beautiful answers for so many imbalances. And we just have to keep saying the message. I personally have been around it 49 years. I'm very grateful. Grateful for the people that have stayed the course all through the years with this beautiful message, reminding people we have the power to improve our health and find balance. And that's what it's all about. It's about finding balance.
So, you know, we're coming up on a 1-year anniversary. We started the podcast in October.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
So we're coming up on 1 year. So I've really been on the supplement journey under your tutelage for almost a year now. And I find, you know, in the last month, I've really found a really nice groove.
Good.
With all the supplements I'm taking, the food I'm eating. When you get to that point, do you just keep it the same? Do you just, you know what I mean? You don't add nothing, don't take anything away. You just keep a car rolling down the road nice and smooth.
I mean, we're all a work in progress on a daily basis. You know, good health is a spiritual journey. My mother taught us that. I keep that in my heart every single day. So, you know, life always brings us ups and downs, and we have to adjust to it and do the best we can. But every day we're striving to find balance. And there's a lot of beautiful tools in our industry. And that's our podcast is about teaching this nation about so many beautiful tools, the wonderful companies that are out there really, you know, supporting our message of good health and making products with great integrity. So there's a lot to learn. And there's you know, you hear me say all the time, I've been doing this 49 years. I'm a student every day. I like it that way. There's so many beautiful things to learn. And when we learn, when we talk to our guest, Denise, there's so many cool products. And the Bach flower remedies are just amazing, beautiful products. So
well, let's bring our guest on.
Let's bring her on.
Is Denise Eaton, and we welcome her in. She is the national educator for Nelson's, maker of Bach flower essence. She is a what? Hello, Denise. Welcome.
I knew he was going to say something about that.
What is that?
It's a Bach flower registered practitioner. So I'm associated with the Bach Center, who was the founder of these courses, and where Dr. Bach had studied and came up with these wonderful healing, this modality, this wonderful system.
Yes. All right. Well, tell us about Dr. Bach and how did he discover the Bach flower remedies?
So he was a physician. Well, he was an immunologist, pathologist, bacteriologist, homeopathy. He had quite a scientific background.
Yes.
But he also specialized in intestinal toxemia, which he discovered that when he was doing his research, that there was a connection, that the true cause of disease started really from our mental state. He felt that when you are not in harmony, when you talk about, Claudia, about, you know, the mind, the body, the soul, putting it all together, and when any of
Yes.
those are in disharmony, or what we call emotional toxins, it actually causes kind of an energetic, biological disharmony into our system. And we know that it's called the science of stress, right? We know that when we're
Yes.
stressed, you know, these emotional toxins cause stress. We're going to be out of sorts physically, and that
Yes.
compromises our immune system. So you think of that concept, the healthy mind, healthy body. He was well ahead of his time. So he discovered, he said, well, okay, allopathic medicine is only focusing on the disease, but he was
Right.
saying, no, we need to find out, in order to really truly heal, what caused that disease, and it starts with our mental state. So he went, and he was the founder of flower remedies, because as a homeopathy, went to nature. You know, nature gives us the power, the tools for us to heal, but we don't utilize it. And he recognized that. So he felt that the flowers that he had discovered brings back that harmony, brings it so that you're able to, emotionally, to adjust, to be able to build the coping skills,
Yes.
and to get through difficult situations. Bring back that harmony, bring your equilibrium back, bring the soul, mind, and body all back to one.
So
Yep.
that's what you guys
Beautiful.
mainly focus on. All right, Claudia. I think that's pretty good background. What are
Yep.
some of the products that you have, or what do you want to add to that?
So we always start with Rescue Remedy. We've talked about it several times on our podcast. We educate on it every day at the store. It's an amazing product. I've been blessed to be around it many, many years. And so I've witnessed thousands of people take Rescue Remedy. And, it's one of those products when we talk about flower essences, which Denise, I would like you to talk about how they're produced. But when people take flower essences, they look at these little bottles. I'll just show you one. They look at
Mhm.
these. Well, I'm going to show you the Rescue Remedy. Well, might as well show that Rescue Remedy. This is Rescue Remedy.
Mhm.
And, I say this is a little bottle, but this is a mighty, mighty product because it's working on such a deeper energetic level, if you will.
Mhm.
You have to experience, especially Rescue Remedy, you have to experience to understand how it makes you feel, because nothing takes away trauma or grief. But when we support our system to be able to handle it better, a lot of people through the years will come in and say, man, I could breathe a little better. I could take a breath. I just felt a little better. And that's the beauty of Rescue Remedy. So,
Mhm.
so let's talk about Rescue Remedy, but I would like you to talk about how the flower essences are made. I think it's very important.
Sure, sure. So he recognized that the principles or the energy of the flowers works as balancers, as equilibriums to our system. He discovered, 38 different negative states of emotions, you'd say. I say negative, but you know what? They're the common emotions, everyday emotions that we
Yes,
experience. It's when they get out of sorts is when they become
yes,
negative. So we
yes,
look at 38 different flowers. He recognizes that there's fundamental conflicts. When we talk about, when you look at the system, the 7 categories, so those fundamental conflicts within those categories of the different layers of the flower. So 38 different flowers. Rescue happens to be the combination of 5 that helps during a crisis. So when I look at the 38, they're all we call stressors. They cause you stress if you're feeling them for long periods of time. Rescue, however, this particular blend of the 5 flowers helps to be able to neutralize during that crisis, that emergency situation. Really, typically when you're not able to make your own personal blend, because you can mix them, you can have a lot of fun with the system. But this
right.
is when everyday stress has caused you, so you're not productive, so you're not able to focus, so you're feeling like you're on edge, and it's just you're not getting through the day. You take that during that situation to regroup. It's like taking a deep
Yes,
breath. It helps build those coping skills, and recognize, okay, what do I need to build resilience so that this doesn't become a pattern. Now, if people are taking rescue all the time, then I say, okay, now you're ready. You need to go deeper. You need to go to the 38 and find out what is causing your stress. There's
yes,
38 different levels. So where rescue is only 5, it is great for that immediate situation. And Claudia, as you know, it comes in all different formats, of delivering. It's just what is makes you comfortable. It's empowering the person to take something, say, okay, we offer you these different formats to say, okay, what's convenient for you, as long as you take it. It's the flowers work mostly on the frequency. So you want to take them as often as you need to until you feel you have that control.
Yes.
So Denise, the product that Claudia held up, the Rescue, are those drops?
Yes. So
How many
she has
drops do you
drops.
take? How do you administer it? Under the tongue? Take it with food, with water? How do you do it?
I say any way you want, but the direction says 4 drops directly in your mouth.
Yes.
Take it directly, or you can add it to a glass of water and sip it at intervals. It's about the frequency to keep you maintained through that harmony throughout the day if you're having a very difficult day. Some people may not want to take it because it does have an alcohol base as a preservative, as his original recipe. So some may want to put it on their pulse points and rub it in. They can add it to bath water, hot compress, cold compress, a diffuser, any way to get it into your system. But it is mostly that, the number one delivery is to take it orally.
So you will feel it instantly when it's working for you.
Usually the more stressed, the quicker the results. If somebody's taking and they're saying they're not getting the results, something else is the underlying reason, and you may have to look at the other flowers. What's causing it?
And very rarely over the years, I don't even know if I can think of, if people feel it. And I think the beauty of this product is, I always tell customers, it's not making a judgment on what the stress is for you. I used it a lot. My family used it during our time of grief. We talked about our son last week that was killed, and we used it a lot. I really encourage people going through grief to use it. But we use, when we did the Denny, when we did the episode on pet health,
yeah,
I showed the pet rescue. This is
we
very,
have that. We actually give that to our cats because we got a couple of spaz cats, and we put a few drops in the water, and it seems to help.
Exactly. So it also comes in pastille. I want to show
absolutely.
that.
Yep.
A lot of people like to you suck on these and one at a time. And that's something I just always want to remind everybody. There's never a toxic level, ever. There's no contraindication with any meds, age, conditions. So it's across the board. It's universally beneficial. And Denise, I wanted to say, when I always tell people the product doesn't make a judgment on the trauma, there was a young man that his family shopped at our store for years. So he grew up, his parents were bringing him into the store by the time he was, a baby. He grew up in it. And we have a university right down the street. And a few years ago, he's a grown guy now, he's at the university, and he was taking a test and he didn't get an A. He got a B. And it messed with his GPA, and he was very upset about it. He came right to the store and he went right for the rescue remedy. So people use it for all different types of trauma to them. So it's a beautiful product because it's not making a judgment on it.
And it's leading up to, during, or after. It doesn't, I mean, if you're going through a difficult situation, you're going to have a difficult conversation with somebody, you need composure, you're doing a presentation or taking a test, you can take it leading up to and during. Put in your glass of water. Nobody's going to know. It's very discreet, that you have rescue in your water to keep you focused and in control. And then even afterwards, some people are dealing with bereavement or, any type of grief or, a trauma or a situation that they can't let go, and it's causing them stress, because we know the effects of stress, what it does to the body. So it's helping to maintain, to keep your equilibrium at balance so that your immune system stays strong. And that's what the product is about.
Denise, something I'm really curious about is blood type. And by the way, if anybody watching has any questions, please pose the questions in the comment section and we'll get to them. And also thank you, Sharon and Suzanne, that are watching and saying hello. Does blood type have any effect on any of the products? Because I know in blood type, we're supposed to eat a certain type of foods because I'm A positive. So better foods are better for me. Does this work better for some blood types, or is it universal?
Nope, universal. Doesn't matter the age, doesn't matter the it's about the person's individual energy level of how they're dealing with negative emotional toxins, we call it,
Yes.
right? So
Yep.
it's about what the person has experienced. This is called a self-help system too. You want to empower the person to recognize, okay, what is triggering these stresses? What is causing this person to be out of sorts and to be so sick and not healthy and not really happy? Because that's the ultimate line, right? Is we all want a true, healthy, happy life.
Yes.
And so it's empowering the person to, the flowers allow you to put that in perspective of how, what do you need to do? So it doesn't matter if you're A blood type or O blood. It doesn't
Yeah.
work that way. Doesn't
But
work
but
that way.
but Denny, I appreciate that you asked that, because Denise, we've been talking a lot about blood typing. I'm a fan of people eating according to the blood type. After years and years of guiding, I don't know, thousands, hundreds of people, we see the benefit of it. So, and Denny's been learning about that. So I'm glad you asked that. But this particular type of product, that doesn't come into the conversation. But
And
Denise,
I do want to point out one thing, only because of, I'm sorry
yep,
to interrupt, but
okay.
because you mentioned about animals, right? So people will commonly say, well, is this a placebo effect? Because mentally people can will themselves well or whatever. It works so well on animals and children, and there is no placebo effect. You can't
Yes,
measure, you can't tell an animal how to
exactly.
feel. So it's amazing
It's
that,
true.
okay, well, if it works so well on animals, then
Yeah.
it's just we're more complex. We don't, you have to be
Yes,
patient. You have to give it a little time. If you've been holding a grudge for 10 years, it's not going to go away in 2 drops. You have to give it some time. But it
yes,
has to be about the frequency and commitment to taking them. But you will see results.
yes.
All right. Besides Rescue Remedy, what else do you have, Claudia?
Okay, so Denise, just tell everybody how the flowers essences are actually
Oh,
made, because I think it's important, because a lot of people come in, they think they're extracts, and they're not extracts. These are
No,
two totally different products.
they
So,
are infused energized water. So what they do is that Nelson's is the company that manufactures the flowers. So they have the rights to manufacture according to Dr. Bach's methods, because Dr. Bach asked them to do, make the stock bottles. So right from the tinctures is where they take active, activity in making sure everything is according to his recipes and methods, and even the plant matter. So they'll take the flowers either through a sun method or boiling method. So if the flowers bloom during the summertime when the sun's strong, they'll cut the blossom at full bloom, put it in a crystal bowl with spring water, and let it sit in the sunlight for 3 hours.
mhm.
Now, if the plants happen to bloom in the fall or the spring, I look at these as more the tree, shrub, hardier plants that where the sun's not so strong, they'll do a boiling method. So they'll take not just the petals, but they'll take the
Oh,
leaves and the stems. It depends on what part of the plant that Dr. Bach recognized would help with a certain energy level, and they will boil it for about a half an hour. In both cases, they strain the plant matter out of there. So now you have this wonderful infused energized water in natural spring water that's a natural carrier of energy. Then they'll do a preservative. They'll preserve the water with a 50-50 grape brandy alcohol, which was his recipe. Now, from there, they'll do what they call a thin layer chromatography testing validation to make sure that those plant pigmentations are consistent from Dr. Bach's original discoveries, which is wonderful. So we don't make
wonderful.
sure that we make
Right.
sure that the plant is consistent. Once they validate that, then it goes to the plant where they do the 2 drops to the 30 ml, 20 ml bottle that you see on the shelf.
Yeah.
It's
So it's just very simple how they're made. But what I respect about his work, he was years ahead of his time. He understood energetic healing. He, just like the homeopaths, when homeopathy was started, they understood energetic healing. And the beauty of it is, all these years later, there's so much research now going on with
absolutely.
frequency and energetic healing. So it's
Ex-
a beautiful thing. And the beauty of these products for me, when we're working with, let's face it, there's two kinds of people that come to the store. Either those that are already in the mindset and they want to be well, they want to continue to be well, or mass America that's not well, we're their last ditch effort. Unfortunately, they come in the store, they have so many problems because oftentimes they've been through medical approaches, and now they're even more traumatized. So we see the benefit of things that are so simple and so basic and so safe and wonderful. They're just effective. And we have children on them. As I said, they're for every age. So it's a beautiful, beautiful way to approach our healing needs. I want to show the rescue sleep. A lot of people are having trouble sleeping. I think it's, over time, we're seeing it become more of an issue between all the stress of the world. And of course, we've got everyday toxins that are causing havoc. So the rescue sleep is a wonderful thing.
It is. And the rescue sleep, if someone doesn't sleep, it's telling me that they're in stress. There's something going on in their life that they're not able to cope or handle it, and they're taking it to bed with them. The beauty of the rescue sleep is that you're getting the rescue remedy 5 combination blend that helps neutralize the day's stresses, keep you, in balance, but also the Bach flower white chestnut, which helps calm the mind when it's repetitive. And that's why it works so well, because people can't shut the mind off when they go to bed because of everyday stress. So they're all hyped up, but then the mind. Now, there's other factors that cause, sleep deprivation also too. I mean, we're prone to, a lot of light, so our melatonins is off, and so there's a lot. But if somebody says, I can't shut the mind off, I'm taking, I'm stressed all day, and I'm taking it to bed with me, this will help relax the mind and the body to allow for a good night's sleep. It's not a tranquilizer. It's not going to make you groggy, feel, out of sorts. It doesn't do that. It just, on an energy level, brings everything back to harmony to allow that good night's sleep.
Yes. See, I don't have trouble falling asleep, Denise. I have trouble staying asleep. So does it help with that? Because I don't have any problem falling asleep. It's just after 3 hours, 4 hours of sleep, I wake up for like no reason. Sometimes I'm laying for 10 or 15 minutes, and then I can eventually fall back to sleep. Does it help you sustain your sleep through the whole night?
It depends on your situation, but in most cases it will. But if you do wake up, you can take it again to get you back, because your body, for some reason, is having a difficult time settling at night. So it may need a little bit more when you wake up. Take it again and get back into that comfort zone where you need to re-regulate your sleep-wake cycle. But because it's a pattern, you've had this pattern, and now we got to kind of break that pattern. But yes, I mean, try it. And then when you wake up, do it again. But you got to give it, some time. Be consistent about taking it.
All right, Claudia, this is part of the podcast where I remind you that you need to take all these products that are in front of you, slide them over to my side, and I'll come in the store tomorrow and pick them up.
Absolutely.
I will do that.
Thank you.
Denise, let's talk for a minute about Star of Bethlehem. This is a well, they're all beautiful. I say that about all of them. Star of Bethlehem.
So Star of Bethlehem is the #1 seller, pretty much worldwide. And that tells me that the country is, people are just going through a lot of trauma, a lot of shock, a lot of grieving, a lot of hard times where they need to be able to cope during certain of those crisis situations. That's why it's in Rescue Remedies, to help neutralize that stress, the grievance. It is what it is. Unfortunately, life is hard, and we need we need help to cope with these uncertain circumstances. So what Star of Bethlehem does is help neutralize the grief, so you're able to deal with it, get past it, and then and move on. Because if someone who's in Star of Bethlehem state is not moving on, we want them to.
And that gets deeper into the cellular activity, correct? Rescue Remedy is helping generally, but like you said earlier, if somebody has ongoing, there are the individual flower essences that are very powerful and can help.
Absolutely. Then you want to look at, then you want to work on, why are you stressed? So I'm dealing at work and I'm stressed every day. Okay, well, it's not normal. I mean, it's not normal to be stressed to the point where you can't function. So it's okay. Now you can get through the day. Now let's evaluate. What is causing that stress to begin? Is it because you can't prioritize and your lists are too long, and you don't, you're really hard on yourself to get these things done when it's unrealistic to do 15 things on your plate? Why can't we do 5? Well, that person has a hard time prioritizing. They're not being efficient. So we give them Elm to help them be more efficient, because that's for people who are feeling overwhelmed all the time. Now, a person who's overwhelmed all the time is going to be stressed. So they're going to go for Rescue Remedy. But the key flower would be Elm that they would need to help them that deeper level of, all right, let's work on prioritizing.
Yes.
A lot of people are subservient. They can't say no. They don't like confrontation. They just will do, because they don't want to have to deal with the consequences of having to confront somebody. but they get overwhelmed too, or they get burnt out, then they get
Right.
resentful. Now we're having all these emotional
Now there's
states. So
now
it's like,
there's all the
okay, time out, people, right? So it's like, how do we peel that one layer at a time? So it's okay. Let's get down to the core. If you're a centaur, you need to put yourself first. And centauri people don't put themselves first. Like, take care of your needs. Say no every once in a while, okay? Or say yes when it's convenient for you, not for them. So
Yeah.
it does. It helps the individual put things in perspective, and that's what the flowers do. Now each emotional state causes, again, the emotional toxin, the disharmonies varies in the body, and the flowers, what he recognized, they work as balancers. They help balance it out.
Yes. It's
Here's a
all about
question for you.
balance.
Do you sell like a starting pack or a variety pack of a bunch of different bottles that go through people's different stages of stress, or is it just rescue remedy or all these other individual bottles?
Well, there is going to be coming up. I mean, they are working on what we call, there's usually 3 theme flowers. So it is helping to deal with certain situations, and those are in the making. We do have one for, we call Hope and Joy, which is a 3-pack for those who are having difficulty with grievance, or really life crises. And then we also have the Clarity of Mind, which is to help for those who have a hard time focusing during the day. And it has the top sellers and those key flowers in those particular categories. I talk about the 7 categories that help you deal with that conflict. And what the person would do is just take the bottles, and a couple drops in water and sip it throughout the day. It's
Yeah.
really about the frequency. You want to maintain that harmony throughout the day, because they don't stay in your system that long. So you want to make sure you maintain that balance.
How long do they stay in your system?
Well, everyone's different. Some people are very intuitive and feel it right away and say, "Oh, it was life changing." And some say, "Well, it took me a while to really peel to understand, what I needed." But, usually about a couple of hours. When we suggest you take it 4 times a day.
What about,
Get up in the morning. Yeah, I'm sorry.
so there's 38 different remedies?
Okay,
What if I take all 38 and put them in some water at the beginning of the day? Can I do that, Claudia? Or am I just going to
do that? What do we always teach? Start with one thing. Feel what you're feeling. It's very important. You start simple, and then because then you're learning about the product, you're learning how it makes you feel, and then you explore different ones, but you do one at a time. I do want to just show now, Denise. I don't know. We've sold this book for many, many years. It's a great book. I think it was first published in the 80s. This particular one is a 1994 edition. We keep it right at where the department that we have all the flower essences, and we actively use this book, and it's been very helpful for guiding people. So I don't know how many there are now. There were 38 original Bach flowers. There's well over 100 now, correct?
No, not Bach flowers. Bach only kept to 38 because he felt that the system.
Yes, but there have been other flower essences produced,
Absolutely.
correct? That's what
Absolutely.
I mean. I don't know how many there are, but there's
Yeah.
many at this point. So,
and my expertise is the Bach 38 system. That's what Dr. Bach had. He was the founder of the system. He felt that after 38, you were able to manage every pretty much basic emotional state that back in the 1930s that are relevant to today.
yes.
The beauty of it is you can take them 6 or 7 at one time. Taking all 38, it's just because of cloudy perception, the body will nothing will happen. So the good thing is that if you take the wrong one, nothing happens. However, then people think the system doesn't work. You really want to focus on, what are you struggling with? What do you see a pattern that's happening more so than not? What is holding you back? What experiences have you had that you need to deal with recent? And then also, is it maybe your personality? Is there a pattern there that you see that's part of who you are that you want to kind of tone down a little bit? And these are things that you want to look at when you are identifying which remedy you would like to take, but no more than 6 or 7, because then it just gives it a cloudy perception.
Yeah, it's too much.
Good stuff, Denise. All right, Claudia, we're about out of time. Is there any more products you want to show, or anything you want to say to Denise?
I want to go over one last one real quick. There's a couple. Crabapple. And
Crabapple?
Yeah, this is one of the top sellers too, isn't it?
So that's we have that category, finding, joy, hope. This person, a crabapple person, does not like what they see in the mirror. We are a society of perfection. Why do we need to be perfect in every aspect? I don't know, but
Right.
they will do everything to transform themselves. So whether they don't like what they see in the mirror, or they're overly compulsive about dirt, contamination, compulsiveness about certain behaviors because they have to have everything in order. And that
Yes.
causes them to feel like they're just going crazy. If they don't have it in order, or they don't like what they self, then they're going to get despair. So we're trying to avoid that. So take that self-acceptance.
Now, one last one, because I think this is very important. This is Mimulus.
Most popular one too, because it's fear. Everyone
You're
has
scared.
a
Yes.
known fear, and this is a fear that you can articulate. So whether it's spiders, heights, public speaking, going to the dentist, it's great for animals too because they have a lot no known fear, but you can see that you know what that fear is. It's
Yes.
also good for shy and timid because that's a fear. So people that get embarrassed very easily, or they stutter, or they just can't connect because they're afraid. It's a fear flower. It helps
Yes.
neutralize and give them courage.
So
That's
those
good
are the,
stuff.
yeah, it's good stuff. It's great stuff. Denise, thank you so
Thank you
much.
for having me. I appreciate
We
it.
really appreciate it. And we hope you return with us because there's more to talk about. So thank you
Mhm.
so much and many blessings to you.
Thank you very much. You all have a good day. Stay
Thank,
balanced.
thank you. Yeah.
Oh, we will.
Yeah.
Thanks, Denise.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'll tell you, I'm amazed every week when we do this.
There's new
There's so
stuff.
much
Yeah.
out there, so much to know. And the good thing is for people that are watching and listening, you can go to Claudia's and she and her staff, they know exactly where to point you and what direction to go. So thank you, Claudia. I will
Wow.
be coming in tomorrow after my radio show to pick up my pile
All
because
right.
there's a lot of stuff there. And I'm actually thinking about people in my life that could benefit from some of that, and myself, because I'm already on the nervous and anxiousness,
Yep.
that different product. Now, you wouldn't
That's
suggest mixing those, would you?
I mean, a lot of, yeah. I mean, you know, when we talked about last week dealing with grief, I've used both of those, you know, for a long time. So they're both wonderful. There's no contraindication to taking them apart. The one thing you want to do is you don't want to take them on top of each other. You might take one and whatever, an hour or two later, 2 hours later, take another. So, but they're very compatible. And
Well,
I'm
curious about it.
I think that what I'm most proud of with our industry and the philosophy of what we have upheld in the United States for this country, we are the industry, we are teaching people always look for the underlying factors. And, you know, Western medicine, they're known to address symptoms, and that's okay. But not everybody wants to just address symptoms. More people are understanding there's deeper issues to a lot of these imbalances that we're witnessing. So striving to find those underlying deeper issues is extremely important. And, you know, I honor everybody that's waking up and saying, hey, I don't want to keep taking things that's just a Band-Aid. I want to figure out. I want to understand. I want to heal. I want to get stronger. I want to help balance themselves. So I have a lot of respect for people doing that. And we're seeing it, you know, we're seeing people all over the country. They're waking up to nutrition and homeopathy and flower essences. It's very exciting to see. It's very beautiful to see.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm your guinea pig. And this is the best I've felt in, well, pretty much my entire life. And it's because I've been learning and finally got to the point where I'm like, okay, I got to do something different because I don't like the inconsistency of how I feel. So I consistently feel so much better. So I'm kind of excited to try some of these products.
Well, and I respect what you're doing, Denny, because as we remind everybody, this is a daily walk. You know, when people look at supplements like, oh, it's just stuff to take. No, it isn't. These are tools. These are tools to help us balance internally. And remember, holistic health, as I always say, it's the whole person. And Western medicine is not addressing the energy of the person. They're just addressing the flat symptom. We're so much more than that. We go, you know, everything in our life, you know, we feel things, we hold on to things. And so there are so many products that can help us deal with stuff and help us release and help us balance. So that's what it's all about.
Awesome. All right. What are we doing next week? Do we know what next Tuesday is
Yeah,
all about?
next week we're gonna have our guest is gonna be Carrie Patterson. She's from Natural Factors, family-owned company, great company. This will be her second time with us, and I'm excited because as many of the companies, they want to come on more often. So we're going to be talking about some other products. We're going to be talking about gut health, brain health. Actually, when you talk about gut health, and brain health, they're connected. So we're going to be going over DGL. We're going to be
because everything starts in the gut.
Everything. Right on, Denny.
Starts in the gut.
There you go. It all starts in the gut, man.
See, I'm paying attention.
You're paying attention. Good work. And when more people get that, when they truly understand that, that's when they can start turning their health around. So
here's the way I look at it. You eat crap, you feel like crap. Bam. Put
that
on a sticker.
Simple.
Bumper sticker.
And well, we'll have to make it. Yeah. And remember, it's sad because, we're seeing a lot of continued and aggressive experimentation on our food supply. This is very serious stuff. And of course, the people that are putting it into the marketplace, they want to convince everybody that it's all wonderful and terrific. Well, a lot of people are not pleased with what is happening to our commercial food supply, which is why it's so important to support local food supply. A lot of people are going to farmers markets and buying their food, which is so exciting to see. We do our best to support local farmers around our community. A lot of other places in our area are getting on board, the health food stores and co-ops, and it's exciting. We need to get back to a local food system and get rid of the big companies that are making all the commercial food. They're just experimenting, and the FDA is allowing them. And it's very sad because our food, in my opinion, nobody should be experimenting on our food. My mother always said, stick to the food that God put here. And that was very simply food before factories. At 65, I have lived that every day of my life. I have 2 older brothers. We continue to live it. I'm grateful she taught us. So that's what I want to remind everybody. Stick to the food that God put here. If it was made in a factory, it's messed with. So do your best every day, every week, whatever it is that you shop, do your best to find simple, clean food that will truly nourish you. So,
by the way, I'd like to do a podcast with your 2 older brothers. I would like to hear the stories about you growing up. I think that could be a lot of fun.
No, I don't think we're going to do that. But
I think that's when we get in our new podcast studios, which are being built as we speak.
Yes,
we got to get your brothers in and get them on. That'll be a lot of fun.
I don't know that they'll do that, but we'll see.
All right, Claudia. Like always, I'm giving you the last word.
Just as always, I'm going to remind everybody, keep the faith. Know that you can help yourself every single day if you choose. It's all a choice. Every day is a choice, and we just have to do the best we can with it. And just wrap your heart around your health. Just wrap it around your health. Get it into your heart. Know that it's very important. Feeling well makes so much of life so much better. So to everyone that's learning about good health, I respect it. I applaud you. Keep going. And as always, focus on the blessings and keep the faith. So we appreciate you joining us. Thank you for being with us every week. Peace.